Anyway, what?
What?
Oh, okay.
I'm pulling up the thing.
Okay, I thought you'd started.
I did start.
Oh, awesome! God, I love it. Love it when these intros are really awkward. Oh, yeah. So we watched Eminence in Shadow by my. I actually watched like the first few episodes of it, and I was like, we should watch this. This is fucking great. So yeah, we watched what is essentially a way more entertaining misfitted Demon King Academy.
Can't believe it. Can't believe we're gonna throw that under the bus immediately.
Dude, there's a fucking second season of that.
Yeah, I know. We're not watching it.
No, we're not. It's like I don't even know where that show can even go anyway. So
he can pick up another castle.
it's whatever. Anyway, so yeah, this is about a kid whose name I don't fucking remember.
He's the super edgelord kind of. He's the super edgelord background character.
He's the kid who saw Vegeta and was like, "I'm gonna be that," and not like the people who like don't recognize the flaws that Vegeta has. Like, he's all about that anti-hero life. And so
he doesn't even want to be an anti-hero. He just wants to be in the background. And,
No. He wants to be in the background so no one notices that he's being an anti-hero.
I thought even his anti-hero antics were him being in the background, just guiding things by shadow.
I mean, yes, to an extent, but he's still being an anti-hero. He's not killing random civilians. He's killing bad people. But I mean, killing is probably a bit excessive. For like random bike gangs that are making noise at night.
Look, he's got to practice his crowbar skills somewhere.
Dude, he's a fucking master with a crowbar. It's crazy.
Anyway, he doesn't even get to be the main character of the first episode. It's some lady.
Yeah, because she gets kidnapped again.
Yeah, and then he shows up with crowbars, and he's just like, man, crowbars are really cool. You can wield them like tonfas. You can hit people over the head with them.
And then, as it turns out, the strongest point of a crowbar is the bend, because it magnifies the force and whatnot, and it's made out to be like this really big deal when he changes crowbar styles. It goes from high stance to low stance. Fucking Neo up in the shit.
And then he gets hit by a truck.
After smashing his head into a rock, screaming magic.
Yeah. Yeah.
He his fight with the soldier just taught him, he's like, there's just limits, and then it's like, what if I got hit by a nuke? And
I would be dead.
And he's like, I need magic. And so he gets hit by a truck. And then he goes to a world where magic happens.
Yeah, and he gets to be born into a family of dark knights. And he's pretending to be really awful at being a dark knight.
Even though he's absurdly overpowered.
He's mastered all of the martial arts, all of the swordplay styles, all of the other things, and then he gets Shadow Slime.
Hell yeah.
To just basically be his everything.
It's his clothes, it's his sword. It can become boobs, but that's what someone else uses it for. Yeah, it
So he grows up or quote unquote grows up again, and he gets into prestigious school that his sister goes to, and sister's got a thing for him. Like, she just likes to beat him up or something. I don't know.
She's got some like serious obsession with him, and it's very not. I was led to believe it would be incesty, and it doesn't really have that flavor to it.
No, she just likes to beat him up.
She's just like, I love my brother and I will strangle him. Like, it's that form of obsession. But we forgot about how he's like so good at magic that he found like this blob, and then he fixed the blob and it turned into an elf girl.
Yeah. I think he was using it as target practice originally.
He was just practicing all of his magic on it, and then he's like, and then I contained the whatnot, and it turned into a girl, and then he made up a whole story that involved
the shadowy cult of Diablos or something like that.
Because that was what was on a bottle of liquor, but as it turns out, that was actually related to the cult, and there really is a cult.
And I think this happens multiple times as he builds his harem.
He's utterly full of shit. He loves story structure, and he's like studied it completely. So he wants to emulate all of these tropes. And as such, he's really good at reading this world, but in terms of story tropes.
Yeah.
He's actually a really good read of people, oddly enough. But he's a good read of people sometimes, and other times he's just an absolute moron. Like, where he's like...
There was a part where one of his harem comes up and was like, hey, we got 115 people for this job, and he's just like, you hired extras?
Well, he's like 115. She's like, I'm sorry. That's all we could get in such a short time. And he's like, how the fuck did you get that many people? He's never entirely in the driver's seat as far as the plot goes. He just inserts himself into the plot and pretends like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's
like the part where... doesn't his sister get kidnapped early on?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, well, we've narrowed it down to these places on the map, and he's just like, no, it's not, it's here. He throws a shadow dart, and he's like, shit, I missed.
Yeah,
and then like,
wait, that's not one of the places you picked. They're all decoys. You're so brilliant. And he's like, yeah.
And then they go there, and that's where the cult is.
100%.
And they split up, and so his harem ends up fighting the cult, or the big guy in charge.
Yeah.
While he's bumming around in the sewers.
Well, because he takes a bunch of magic pills, and then he stabs the ground and goes...
The bad guy.
Yeah, the bad guy does. And they're like...
should we chase him?
He's like, don't worry, he's on his way to him. And then we cut to Shadow wandering the sewers, and he's like, man, I'm lost.
And the dude just breaks out of the wall. He's like, oh, hey.
That works.
He beats him up. He's like, hey, you were kind of strong for an average bandit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he doesn't even know that that's the head honcho of that area.
He's completely out of the loop as far as, like, the cult. He's somehow missed the fact that he's totally called it. There has to be a point where... No, because he's not present for the big plot dump that happens with Tron.
Yeah, but that's later.
Yeah, but I'm just realizing it's like, I think he's just utterly out of the loop. He does not know that all of this shit is real, and so he's just goofing off. He's acting.
Yeah, so there's also a part before he goes to the school that I forgot about, where his harem's like, yeah, we're all gonna go out and we're gonna, like, spread the word or whatever.
Mm.
And he's just like, yeah, I know what they're saying. They're saying they don't want to play my games anymore. It's fine, whatever.
I'll just do my own thing.
They're old enough to make their own choices.
Yeah, because I think Alpha is actually older than him.
Probably, she's an elf. They're all elves.
Not all of them. Some of them are animal girls.
Close enough to elf.
Sure.
Anyway, so he goes to school. He meets two background character friends.
Potato and I don't remember the other fucker's name.
Probably like Axel or something. And
it's some other joke name.
And so he fails a test, I think, or he gets the worst score, so he has to ask out the most unapproachable person.
Who's some...
which happens to be the second princess.
Of the kingdom.
Yeah, and much to his dismay, she's like, yeah, no, I'll go out with you. Mostly because I don't want to go out with this other guy that I've been
set up with.
Yeah, because he's an asshole.
He's a sword instructor, but turns out he's with the cult.
Yeah, he was one of the knights of the rounds, or he wanted to be a knight of the round, or some nonsense.
I still don't understand what that was, or what that.
I only know
if that's the cult, or if that's
I think knights of the round were like the 12 founding members of the cult.
That's weird.
Or like the 12 the 12 head honchos.
Sure.
Because I think I don't know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But there's so yeah, he gets what's her face kidnapped, blames Sid. Sid gets the crap beaten out of him.
Sid is his name in the
Shadows.
Isekai world.
Yeah, Shadows. We're just gonna call him Shadow because that's basically
might as well.
But Sid is
his civilian name.
Yes, and he gets kidnapped. He gets the crap beaten out of him, and he's just like gushing.
Well, he doesn't get kidnapped. He gets arrested.
I'm sorry.
She gets kidnapped.
I'm mixing up plot details. He gets taken in for questioning, and they beat the shit out of him, and he's just like, "Oh, this is such perfect background character material." Starts screaming his head off.
I'm gonna be more of a background character than you guys.
Yeah, you can't outshine me, and yeah. So
the guy who kidnapped the princess, he's part of the cult. He's taking her blood.
He's fucking crazy.
There's an abomination hanging out in the same cell.
He likes to kick it.
And things go wrong. Shadow shows up and fixes everything by going atomic.
Oh my god, I am atomic. And then it just purple just erupts from like it like I think it like bubbles out of water. It does that multiple times. And just like erupts and spreads out, and like all the Shadow Guard members are like creaming their panties, and they're God, I wish I hadn't said that. And they're just watching this shit go off, and there's just this crater in the middle of the city. And yeah. Dude,
so the princess's sister doesn't like that. She's already branded Shadow as the bad guy. Which, to be fair,
kind of, because Lord, like it seems in. Well, I guess they would have evacuated already because the monster was there.
Yeah,
but,
the
like,
abomination.
But he needs to like fucking cool it with that shit, because it's very concerning when he does that. And yeah, so
then there's a sword tournament.
Of course there is.
And he's like, I'm going to lose the first round, but I'm going to do it in 53 different ways. Yeah. And they're all the exact same way of him getting knocked on his ass.
Yeah.
And anyway, the girl that beats him, she gets a crush on him because she's like, oh, he's so valiant.
Yeah.
Or stupid or something like that.
Yeah, because the cult attacks the school, and they use an artifact that like shuts down all magic, and he recognizes it, but he finds like a workaround, but he finds an opportunity to be the total.
I want to be the most background character ever, so I'm gonna run into this sword.
I'm gonna run into this sword and die, quote unquote, and yeah. So he pretends to be dead, and he pretends to be dead by letting his heart stop, but he keeps oxygen in his brain, which actually makes sense, and then uses magic to fucking beat his chest until his heart starts back up, which shouldn't have worked considering he was probably slashed through the heart. But
it's magic. He fixed it.
Yeah, it's whatever. And so he does his usual thing and figures out who the bad guy is, which we call partway through the episode too, because there's a nerd girl who he gives chocolate to on a whim, and
yeah, he's just trying to get rid of it.
Like, I don't know what the fuck to do with this. Here, have this chocolate. And she's like, oh, he's in love with me.
Yeah, and the entire time he's kind of dismaying this fact because he's like, ah, shit, she's totally a named character.
He's like, I can't get involved with this person. It's too important.
Anyway, she as the school's under attack, she tries to make her way to like the dean's office, all while muttering to herself and being absolutely clueless about the people who were like
Totally
2
spotting.
seconds away from killing her.
Yeah, everyone spots her. She's not being secretive, sneaky, anything. She's just getting helped by Shadow, killing everybody.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, Shadow Bolt.
Dead. Oh yeah, he stands on top of a fucking...
He's like, I'm gonna do something really cool, and he jumps off the building.
Yeah.
And then they overload the artifact that's containing the magic. So like all the Dark Knights in this college or high school or whatever can fight back, and the big bad is this dude, just ironclad,
just with like 6 eyes. On
the most mask. Ridiculous. He's sorry.
No, he's fucking absurd. It's fucking 6-eyed. What's his name from Full Metal Alchemist?
Oh,
the kid who's like sealed to the armor.
Yeah, no, it's not Edward. Alfred. It's an A, I think.
I think it's Al.
Alfred.
Yeah, he's It looks like that, but as it turns out, oh no, it's the adoptive father of the science girl.
Yeah, and he's the adoptive father because he stabbed her mother.
Yeah.
The best part is we see the scene where he stabs the mother.
Oh my god, yes.
And she walks in
immediately after the stabbing, and he's there.
And she's just like
tunnel visioned on dead mom. Damn it, the sword ghost got her. And we just ran with that joke that entire episode once we saw that and realized like how utterly idiotic this fucking shit was. So yeah, and then the sword ghost got her adopted dad too. Even though she figured it out and she knows that Shadow did it.
She's like, I'm going to the holy city. I'm gonna go learn things. Bye.
But I'm actually going to become obsessed with revenge, because who the fuck couldn't have fucking called that shit?
Anyway, it's a field trip to the Holy City now.
Oh, God.
Everybody's going there for some reason or another. Shadow joins the tournament. He fights a witch.
That he does.
So the tournament is like, you put your hand on a thing, I guess, and it summons somebody to fight you.
Yeah.
Like somebody of your power level, I guess. Is that what it was?
I think it just picks someone at random. And then they're all like legendary warriors or something.
Anyway, he summons the Chaos Witch, and he has to fight her, and when he wins, a door opens up and it just stalks him.
Yeah, he gets stalked by a magical door. It's great.
And it turns out the guy hosting the tournament, he's part of the cult too!
Who would have thought? And they catch him and they force everyone into the artifact that summons all the people, because it turns out it's like a weird memory artifact that
this is the sanctuary, right?
Yeah, and it basically does a plot dump.
Yeah, so a long time ago the church cut off the arm of a demon named Diablos. And they are using its blood to become immortal.
They make pills out of it.
And this guy was one of the first 12, I guess. And he wears a Tron suit when he fully reveals his character.
It's so fucking weird, because it's like, it's very clear it's a world that is very... Like, it at this point in time is very clear that, like, technological advancements have gone forward, but also there's magic. So you have like techno knights and people in lab coats
and trains, and everybody swings swords around though.
And it's so no. I'm talking about in this past.
Oh,
in this past,
they probably had trains back then too.
Oh, I'm sure they had like real trains that as we would know them. It's very clear that in this past they were much more technologically advanced, and they're kind of like, whatever happened with Diablos, like, fucked everything up, and so...
I imagine the church is just holding people back. They're like, we get all the cool stuff, and you guys get to live in the Middle Ages.
It's weird, but it's very clear that there's, like, a lot going on, and what's great is that Shadow isn't there for any of it. He's
he
helping
gets
out.
to hang out with a sword.
Well, he's helping out the witch.
Yeah, and they get into the sword room, and he just sits there.
Just sits there and plays tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, and they're like, well, I guess we're just gonna wait for the hero to show up so they can pull his sword out. And
he never does it.
no, he just blows the sword up.
He blows everything up.
It's the same outcome.
Yeah.
They were gonna blow up the core anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it turns out his lead harem member is like the descendant of the hero that cut off the arm.
Yeah.
So that's why she looks exactly like her.
And why she's so fucking powerful.
Yeah, so they basically beat Tron Man up, and then they leave.
Yeah, like they don't even kill him.
They're just like, we'll come back later.
Yeah.
When we feel like it.
Yeah, but what's his face just blows them all up, so it doesn't fucking matter.
So Tron Man and a clone of the hero, we're gonna find that out. It's just like a doll type thing.
Look, the Tron Man stacked his deck with nothing but heroes.
But yeah, I know. So they go to the sword room, and he's like, "Oh no, look, you can't fight her. You can't fight the hero. She's the hero." And he's like, "Well, what if I get stabbed? And then I use the fact that I'm right behind her now to kill her."
Oh yeah, takes a big old chunk out of her neck, and she bleeds to death, and then breaks like glass.
And he's like, "Well, I use magic to move my vitals around. That means I don't have to dodge anymore."
Like, why dodge when I can just not die?
So Tron Man like pulls the curtain back on the walls, and there's just a whole bunch more heroes, and they all die.
Yeah, he blows them all up. He goes atomic. It blows another crater in another city.
Yeah, and then they go home.
Yep.
For the next tournament arc.
He gets kissed by an apparition of the witch.
Oh yeah, the witch was the demon.
I missed that reveal, but whatever.
Well, it's fine. When he blew up the arm, she was there, so she was the demon, I think.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Anyway.
They go back home. Another tournament arc.
Hell yeah.
Except this time, Shadow wants to be like a nobody and win the tournament. So he dresses up as, I'm going to say it's Caliber from Gridman.
Yeah.
And he's just slouching. He's got the Rock Lee weights on.
Oh, that was fucking sick. And he, like, cracked his neck and sneezes and, like, uppercuts people twice before they can see anything. And,
one lady is taken aback by this.
She's like, I must learn your secrets, and so she like pretends to crack her neck and sneezes, and then everyone's watching, and she just walks out really awkwardly.
And then she confronts him, and she's like, I can do this, and she cracks her neck.
And she just sits there like, yeah, and he's like, I don't, what, whatever.
Also, there's another elf girl looking for someone who looks like her.
Yes, it's very clear she's looking for Alpha, and she's like my sister's daughter, so it's her aunt. And she has a katana.
Yeah.
Fold over 1,000 times, Japanese steel. Anyway, I gotta shit on katanas anytime I can.
So, while this tournament's going on, there's a man named Perv Asshat.
From the glorious asshat royal line.
And he's trying to marry the girl who thought Shadow was really cool because he kept getting up in the tournament way back when.
We forgot about the scene where he gives her a sandwich from Tuna King after he like sucks one down. And it's like, yeah, I believe in you, whatever, go do something stupid. And she does something stupid. She stabs Asshat and runs away.
Yeah, because Asshat is controlling her dad
with magic goo that makes him.
No, he's got his hand going up. In the
puppet, yeah.
And so she's now wanted by the authorities, and she's crawling around the sewers, the labyrinth, and Shadow's down there with a piano. He's just like, "Hey, power for you! Bye."
I'm gonna fix your Twizzlers problem. She got a heart thing.
She had she had a case of red vine.
It was a bad time, and
Shadow was like, I don't like looking at that.
yeah,
Get that away from me.
get rid of that. That's gross. And yeah, so this whole tournament goes on, and Shadow as a mundane man with two ends, is just cleaning house and fights the blue-haired lady who is kind of an idiot.
She's the one who was like, oh, I can crack my neck too.
Yeah. And
that gets him into the finals or the semifinals or whatever.
it's the semifinals.
And he's got to fight the sister of the girl that he was quote unquote dating at the beginning.
Yeah, Iris.
The princess.
Just redhead.
The one who's everybody's like, she's gonna win the tournament.
Totally clean, like not even gonna be a contest, and he scares the ever loving shit out of her. Just by doing like small twitches and stuff, and she just imagines like, I just lost my head, I just lost my foot, He
somehow made her imagine that he was holding his sword.
Probably messing with her. It's very clear that she's trained to like read people's body movements, and he's using those body movements to fool her so thoroughly that she thought he was holding his sword when he wasn't, which is fucking absurd. But
anyway, he parries her attack, and he's just like, you lose.
Yeah, just slams her into the ground and like grabs her by the neck, slams her into the ground, pulls out the sword against her neck, and is like, really? That's all you got?
Meanwhile, lady who just got the powers from crawling around the sewers, she has to kill her dad because Lord Asshat's being an asshat.
Yeah, she's like, forgive me for what I have to do, and goes to stab Asshat, but Asshat throws dad in the way and does a really good job of acting like that was an accident. And and then she goes to kill herself, and Shadow comes up and
Shadow's all like, none of that.
Shame on you. And she's like, the stylish bandit killer? And he's like,
oh, that's not me.
Oh, oh God, shut up. And scares away Asshat. And
Elf Girl's like, man, I want a piece of that. And she starts to fight him.
Beatrix is like, I'll fucking fight you. We forgot about the scene where the king from the other kingdom, who's being puppeted, passes by, is like, you stink.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she walks by, or he walks by.
Yeah, and she's like, you stink.
That's because the mind controlling hand has a weird smell to it.
Well, it's actually a drink that makes
the mind controlling hand. The puppetry hand.
Well, I mean, it would smell pretty bad. But anyway. So she's got her katana and she's going to town, and
Redhead's like, I ain't missing on any of this. And she grabs the big ass fucking ornament sword
and pulls it out of the sheath, and it's got these fucking red.
Yeah, it's great because you're like, man, that sword looks fucking stupid. I'm like,
it looks fucking stupid.
I'm like, no, that's just a sheath. The sword is rad.
And God, you were fucking on point that last episode, because you were just calling shit left and right. She pulls it out, and I'm immediately like, that sword's so fucking cool, because it's got these glowing red runes on it, and it's just a simple blade with the glowing runes on it, and I'm just like, and taking off the sheath, like, took away, like, most of the ornament, like, shitty, ostentatious ornamentary on it, and I'm just like, that sword is fucking awesome.
And then she swings it, and half the town's on fire.
It just flames everywhere, and it was like, this is so fucking cool. And they like fight so hard that entire city blocks explode, and
then Shadow finds a toolbox, and inside the toolbox is some crowbars.
Oh, dude, when he fights with the crowbars, it's so fucking sick. It's such a good callback. And then, and I was like, if those are, I thought they were slime crowbars. That was my mistake. I was just like, oh, he's just conjured up crowbars, and this is a callback. But no, he's actually using crowbars, and I was like, those are real crowbars. Those are gonna cut like instantly, and then the Tanner cuts the crowbars.
Yeah, like 15 minutes later.
It did take a while.
He stopped the big fire sword with the crowbar.
Dude, he fucking punched her away.
Yeah, but
he did do that too. You're not wrong.
When he first got the crowbar,
he caught
both of them.
Yeah, it was fucking sick.
Yeah, they have this fight across town, and then he's just like, "All right, time for me to get serious."
Yeah, and
he produces this big old barrier above the town, and it encompasses like half the country.
Oh, it closes. It's the entire city is just purple now, and he's like, "I'ma do the thing," but
just kidding.
Psych, it's April Fool's.
Oh wow, that was timely.
Yeah, it was. No one else is gonna get that because this isn't going up on April 1st. I don't know if anything is.
Aaron might have put something up. Anyway,
yeah. So he just goes psych, and everyone's alive, and Iris is like losing her fucking mind, and
I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna kick his ass.
And the pink hair girl from way back is like, I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna kick his ass. And he's surrounded by pictures of him.
And then the harem's all like, yeah, this is what he wants.
Yeah. Oh, and what's her face? Blondie, McStabby Dad. She gets brought in as number 666 of Shadow Garden, and they cut up her
her Tuna King sandwich wrapper.
Which
her prized possession.
Prized possession from the promise from the random nobody.
Also, Beatrix got a Tuna King wrapper as well that she turned into an origami crane.
Fucking stupid. Yeah, it's dumb, and it's like the whole world is against him. He used his. He got the whole country to hate him so that they don't do the thing with the other country and have the war. And then and the dumbest shot in the entire show we get where he's like, what's his face went into the mountains and he fought a mist dragon, and then it breathed on him because it was vaping, and it's like, and we made this giant statue of him, and it's a whole city made just for him. And I'm like, this is stupid.
I still think he doesn't know about it.
Oh, I don't think he knows at all.
This is definitely something they did without his permission.
Completely. It's completely absurd and completely stupid, and it's perfectly in line with this show. So.
All right, yeah, that was season 1.
Jesus Christ. Entire light novel series. Fucking yeah. Alright, let's get this numbers.
Alright.
Plot.
I mean, I've seen we're using demon parts to make blood pill things to become immortal. I've seen that before.
I mean, yeah, but have you seen it in a futuristic setting where they're literally in a lab, and also the main character has no fucking clue what's going on?
Maybe.
I mean, I wouldn't put anything lower than a 4. I actually thought the plot was actually good. I mean, at a certain point, we lost the plot completely because it was
a tournament arc.
Yeah, it was and
the plot wasn't even happening around the main character. The plot never happened around the main character.
No, he's always somewhere else from the plot.
Yeah, hit it with a 4 then.
All right.
If that's as low as you'll go.
Characters. I think they're decent. Everyone's got their own thing, their own stuff, and everyone's got something going on.
I think the background harem is a lot more interesting than the regular harem.
Yes, but I do find it interesting how the background harem is actually like deeply interwoven into all of this bullshit.
Okay, just to be clear, the backup harem is not the elf girls, right?
I meant background as in they're in the background. I'm fucking up terminology here. The Shadow Garden harem is interwoven into the Cult of Diablos nonsense. They're all related to ancient heroes.
I'm not gonna lie though, I find them less interesting.
They aren't getting as much play because they're not. They kind of just all happened in a time skip.
I mean, they like a few of them got their own like moments. Like, hey, this is why I'm part of the group, and it's just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I think the harem of princesses or whatever is more interesting. So I don't know why they're falling for this fucking chump.
I can see it, and that's the thing I love about it is that he's too capable to even. He's so good at what he does, and he's so capable that his own. It's kind of escaping from his facade of bullshit, and I can see how. Okay, minus the one princess who's like making a romance novel in her head.
That's. Wait, which princess is this?
The one who stabbed her dad.
Oh, okay.
Her fantasy is funny, and I kind of love it. But like, I completely understand why Tsundere princess is falling for Sid. That's very well forecasted. The other one is just living a stupid fantasy, and but she's got her own bullshit going on, and I find that kind of interesting. But I am engaged enough with the Shadow Garden harem that I'm like, there's stuff going on here, and I am interested in their characters. They're more than nothing.
Sure.
Which is way more than we could say for most harem characters. And I'm kind of... And I can feel that there is depth there.
I'd say name 4 of them, but that wouldn't be hard.
Yeah, Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta. Fucking
okay, but could you pick them out in a crowd?
I know Alpha, I know Delta.
Which one was Delta?
Delta's the cat who goes feral.
Okay.
And Alpha and Delta have a relationship that is very clearly like I think they sleep together, but Delta is very subservient to Alpha. There's clearly some kind of hierarchy there. I like the characters, and I really like the main character. I think he's played well for the nonsensical nerd that he is.
Hit it with a 4 then.
Fair enough. Animation.
I mean, we watched a man blink out of existence in like one of the last episodes.
That was funny.
That only happened the one. There was only the one error.
There was the one error, but that's still more than most things, other than the entire error that was X-Arm. But god damn, I loved the ending fight.
I'd say all the fight scenes were pretty good, except for the fact that like this has nothing to do with the animation itself. It's just you knew he was gonna win, so like they weren't engaging.
Yeah,
but like I said, nothing to do with the animation. So.
No, I would say.
All the fight scenes were really good, I think.
Yeah, they were all fantastic, and other than like that horse that was just.
I forgot about the horse.
The horse was bad. And
I was too busy thinking about the Invisible Man.
Yeah, no, but like, yeah, no, everything was really good, and I loved just everything about the animation style and the way it went in that last episode was just aces. I'd be willing to hit this with a 5 just because when the Sakuga hit it.
Yeah, hit it with a 5. It's hard to make fight animations look good for the entire show.
Yeah, you literally can't do it. So, genre strength. We literally now have a genre of power fantasy going on, and this was so much better than. But this is like a parody of power fantasy. It is it is fulfilling that power fantasy, but it's fulfilling that power fantasy while not holding back on like the type of person who would be living this power fantasy.
You've said power fantasy so many times.
I know, but that's what it is.
You said it like 5 times during the span of like 30 seconds.
I'm aware of that. I needed to get across that that's what this is.
Oh shit! I thought this was a rom-com.
I mean, to an extent, this man resists romance.
I thought this was a thriller.
Like no, this wasn't thrilling in most senses.
I mean, of the power fantasies that we've watched, this is probably the better one.
It's a subversion of it.
Of like the 3 that we've seen.
Well, because actually no, Sakamoto was not a power fantasy. Sakamoto was just absurdism.
Sakamoto was about improving other people.
That it was.
By being perfect.
Yes. Everything was perfect. But like it doesn't fall into the same like everything goes perfectly for Shadow, but it's not because he's doing anything right. He's just...
See, I forgot about Sakamoto, and I was thinking Misfit, Demon King, Academy, and Cobra.
Oh, I didn't even think about Cobra.
Cobra's definitely a power fantasy.
But,
don't you want to be the coolest man alive?
But you don't think about being Cobra.
Well, that's because you don't want to be Cobra.
Well,
but that doesn't mean he's not the coolest guy alive.
No, I get that, but like... Well, hell, even Misfit at Demon King Academy isn't like, it's the normal guy who's actually becomes the superpower. It's just, this man is just absurdism in a character. And Shadow has a bit of that going on, but, I mean, alright.
Then there's also Assassin's Pride. That's a power
Yes,
fantasy.
that is a power fantasy. That is just a fantasy for someone who is into middle school girls, and I think it's gross. Like, especially that sock scene. I'm so glad we gave that.
Yeah, I forgot about the sock scene.
I'm sorry I keep bringing it up.
No, it's important.
It's important that we hate it.
Yeah. Anyway, hit this with like a 4 or 5, I don't know.
I'll hit with a 4. I didn't watch the dub. I wanted to watch it in Japanese just because...
You wanted to hear him say, I am atomic.
I mean, that's what I initially watched it in, and I was like, no, you need to hear this. Because he speaks it in such great English. So, shit. What does the special mention go to? What is the thing that...
that we're gonna remember forever? Because if the thing we're gonna remember forever is him, I am atomic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm gonna forget about the show, and I'm gonna remember that. Remember them zooming in on his face, and then him dropping a bomb on 2 different cities.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's awesome. He creates new terrain features.
In the form
giant
of holes.
Gaping holes. Just like the giant gaping holes in this show's... No, this show doesn't really have plot holes. This show... The only
That's because there's not... They try to keep you away from the plot. They try to keep you as the background character.
Well, because that's just all that Shadow's about. He's just... I'm just here to be the badass and not know what's going on. Anyway, I am atomic. I mean, you lost your fucking mind.
Yeah, I did actually.
I unfortunately knew it was coming, and I admittedly find it. How do I put it? The scene, I think, to me, is unironically cool, but it's like you're doing it, atomic, and you just like, that's just the ultimate like fumble of like, that's not cool. It's not cool, but like there are just several things about this show that I'm like man, it feeds that inner edgelord of me.
Okay, so how many points is that edgelord gonna give this?
Well, it's only one.
Okay.
I think it was good. It was a good moment in any way you look at
What
it.
is that, 19?
No. It's 18.
Oh, okay.
We gave it a lot of 4s.
I thought we gave it 2 5s, but
I...
whatever. 18's still good.
For genre strength, as far as like a power fantasy goes, I think... I don't know. There's just some part of me that's just like...
I feel like if it was going to be like a true power fantasy thing, like he would have to be more involved in the plot instead of just kind of like being there.
I mean, but
he's not steering the plot. He's just sort of like along for the ride occasionally.
Oh, and that's the thing. It's like it's clearly designed that way, and it's designed to be a subversion. If I were to rate it as a subversion, I would still probably give it a 4 because it's still living that. I'm still having those moments where I'm like, God, that's fucking cool. And it's like, all right, it's not a perfect subversion. It is still trying to live that power fantasy. It's just, it's got those trip ups that I think are really funny and fun to watch. But yeah, on that note, it's like it's hard to give it a perfect score in either direction, whether it's a parody or the real thing. So yeah, 18. I can live with that.
I mean, that's top 7, I think.
It's still pretty fucking good.
Anyway, we'll see you guys next time for something else.
Yep.
See ya.